I had a dream. I was on a patio where a carport with cement walls and there was bench seating made of wood, and the woman that was in charge was like an executive secretary. She was blonde, and I asked her about timing, the timing of things. In my line of work, it's very important to have things at the right time or in sync. Too early isn't right, too late, definitely not right. Right in the middle where it's supposed to be is correct. So I asked her about it, and she said, well, wait until the big boss man comes and ask him. Well, the big boss man came in, he was wearing a suit, and I recognized his face, and it ended up being uh, Monsignor from the church that my wife um, went to, and she looked up to him, and he liked me, and I was always friendly and polite with him, even though I wasn't raised in that church. But we went, and he wasn't wearing priestly garb or anything. He was wearing a regular three-piece suit, like a standard businessman. And I asked him, so when is the time? When is the right time? And he said he couldn't tell me. And as he was talking to me, he was holding these backup tapes that we'd use to store information on. And one of the labels on it was from a show called Wicked City that was on the air, I think, a couple years ago. But the premise for this show was in the 1980s, during the Hillside Strangler uh, killings, and the police officer was trying to solve the murders and catch the bad guy. And I worked on the show. But he was taking the labels off the tape, and he said, well, they're of no use anymore. Um, they're so sinful and evil that they have to go. It's done. There's no saving it anymore. So he's going to take it over to this machine. It's called a degausser. And it creates a magnetic field. And the magnetic field is so strong, it'll erase anything magnetic. And one of the first rules is never walk over there with your wallet or your credit cards, because the magnetic strip on the back will get erased. He walked over to it, and I said, well, no, here, let me do it. And he goes, that's too late. They're already erased. And I said, well, give me the other tape, and I will help you erase it properly. And so I showed him how to do it. He goes, well, it's finished, it's done. There's no saving it. Then the scene changed, and I was in a warehouse, and it was racks and racks, metal racks, just rows and rows of metal racks of nothing but military equipment and clothing and supplies. And there was multiple rooms with multiple racks of different kinds of equipment. Some for urban warfare, some for jungle warfare, some for the snow. And then I walked in the very last room, and it was for the Navy. And they had, like, when you go fishing, they have the waders that come all the way up to your chest, and then scuba diving gear, all sorts of nautical equipment. And then I turned to my left, and I went through this door, and I went into this room, and it was pretty much a square box, and there was graffiti all over it, and some blood stains. And I thought, well, this really isn't nice, and it felt evil. You could feel the presence of evil. And there was another door to go through on the opposite side, and I noticed that when I stepped through the one door, it closed, it locked, you couldn't go back. You could only go forward. So I walked in the other room. It was a larger square box, and it was a slaughterhouse. It was a slaughter room where they would kill animals, and there was blood everywhere. It was supposed to be white, but it was red from all the blood. And then I looked to my right, and there was another door. Of course, the door behind me closed, and I couldn't go through. So I walked through this other door, and I ended up in a huge hall warehouse full of records, like banker boxes, manila envelopes, file folders, and this one woman pushing a cart. I said, "What's this room?" And she goes, "Well, this is the hall of records. And we just happen to have your records right here." And she looked at me and said, "Well, they're all in order, and nothing else needs to be done. So the other double doors that are behind you," and then I turned around and I looked. She goes, "You can go through those." So I went through those double doors, and there was trees, there was birds, there was sunlight, there was grass, and it was green, and all the colors were very vivid. Vivid, bright, more surreal than like a Disney cartoon or whatever. And then I woke up. That's my dream. And then I asked for interpretation of it. What does it mean? Well, I got it the next day when I was explaining it to one of my friends. And the timing of it comes from the man in charge. He knows when the right time is, and it's not going to happen any sooner. It's not going to happen later. It's going to happen at his perfect timing. Then I thought about the tapes. Well, Wicked City was a show, happens in Los Angeles. And he was saying that it's so sinful and evil, there's no saving it. And it's appointed to be erased and destruction. The other rooms, there's war. There's war coming. There's no other reason to have all this military equipment in these other rooms. The square room with all the graffiti that felt evil that's exactly what's going to happen. There's going to be a war, and then all hell breaks loose on Earth, literally. And then the only way to get saved is to go into the room full of blood. Whose blood? Jesus' blood. Only his blood can save you. So, what do? You put your faith in Jesus Christ. You call out for him to save you. You believe it. You trust in him. You'll be saved. Is that it? You're done? You said the sinner's prayer? No. It's repentance. It's written all through the Bible that you need to turn from sin, to turn from Jesus, to turn to Jesus, and cling to him and trust him that he's in charge, you're not. He'll tell you what to do, he'll tell you how to do it, and he'll show you. So it's a matter of obedience. But some people say that's works. Is it? Is it work to be obedient to somebody you love? Or are you doing it out of love because you love them? A wife loves her husband and submits to him because she loves him. And a husband is supposed to give everything to his wife unto death, like to give up his own life for her because he loves her. Well, Jesus is the head of the church. We're the body. We're the bride. He's the bridegroom. It fits. So we trust him. We give him our everything because he created everything. And he will redeem us. Our salvation comes when he comes to save us. He is our kinsman redeemer. He is the only way. He is the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father but by him. There's no other name given under heaven by which a man can be saved except for Jesus. So you call to him now, before the door closes, because he showed me that too. That I was locked out of my house, didn't have a key, door closed behind me, it's done, it's finished. So Turn from your evil, wicked doings. Choose life. Choose death. Your choice. He's not going to force you. But he loves you and he doesn't want anyone to perish.